Hello, my name is Imran Aslam. Today I am going to give a demonstration on chemical management application and its installation procedure. First of all, I will discuss about the installation procedure of this application, and later I will explain the main features of the application. So let's start first with the installation procedure of the application. Now, if you have already downloaded the setup file from my website www.petrosoft.com, then you can simply double click on the setup file. It will launch the setup utility or setup wizard, installation wizard. From the first language page, you can select the appropriate language and then press the OK button. It will take you to the license agreement page where you will accept the I accept agreement button and press the next button. Then it will take you to the information page. Again press the next button. It will take you to the page where it asks you to create a desktop shortcut option. So it is always a good idea to create a desktop shortcut so that you can launch the application straight away from your desktop anytime in future. Now then press the next button here. It will take you to the final installation page where after pressing the install button, the application will be installed on your computer within few seconds. Since I have already installed this application, I will just simply cancel out this application installation utility and go to my desktop where I have already saved this application application shortcut on my desktop. From this shortcut, I will just simply double click the shortcut. It will launch the main application on the screen. Now this application is basically has two sub applications compiled in one main application. When you go to the top menu bar, application tab, you press this application tab. There you can find two sub applications as by the name. Chemical dilution and injection is the first application, and the caustic soda heat and mass balance is the second application. Now the first menu option on the menu bar is a file menu option. Under the file you have two sub menus, the new menu and the exit menu. Pressing the new menu will launch the new instance of the application. For example, if you have cancel out this application, then you can launch the new instance of the application by simply pressing the new button here. Now the second button, exit, is to close the application. Now moving further, the next tab is the application, which I already explained, can be used to launch any of the two compiled application from this application tab. The next button here on the menu option is the about menu option. This when you press the about menu option, you can review about the basic information of the application and the developer's information. The next option is the help menu button. By pressing the help menu button, you can launch or you can open up the manual of this application. In the manual you can find further detail about each input section and all the sections and all the information with the pictorial graphics to explain in detail how to use this application. Now moving back to the main application. So basically this application, when it first launch the main application, the first application that will be launched is the chemical dilution and injection by default. So this application is basically developed to find out or to calculate the chemical injection rate into the process stream. Now as a normal practice, you always have a vendor's chemical which is mostly in a concentration or a concentrated chemical, which you require to dilute it to some extent or to a certain dilution factor before you finally inject it into the process stream. So you need to dilute, you need to find out how much is the dilution rate that needs to be diluted to this concentration chemical before you can inject into the process stream up to the required concentration. So this application has basically three sections. The first section deals with the concentrated chemical. In this section on the left hand side, user need to provide the basic information of the concentrated chemical, and in the diluted chemical section the user need to define the dilution factor, up to what extent the chemical needs to be diluted you will define in this diluted chemical section. The third section is injected chemical section, where the user need to provide the process flow rate into which the diluted chemical needs to be injected at a certain ppm level or a concentration ppm level, a concentration ppm level, which is parts per billion. Once all this basic information is provided, then by pressing the calculate button, the calculation will be performed and the message bar turned greens with the caption OK on it, which means that the calculations are done successfully, no errors were found. If however user has provided any incorrect information or the input in the input section or input fields, then by pressing the calculate button the program will stop and a message bar turns red with the caption that please review the inputs, there is some error. So the so the user can go back to the required field and to the required field and update the information. Again press the calculate button, the calculation will be done automatically. Now going to the next application, which is the caustic soda heat and mass balance. Now the caustic soda, the other chemical name is sodium hydroxide, is most widely used in chemical industry or in process industry, but it is always used at some diluted concentration, whereas normally when it is delivered to the site it is of a higher concentration, up to 45-50% concentration. Now before you inject it into the process, you always dilute it to a certain extent, 30%, 20%, 25%, whatever is required. You have to dilute it by mixing it with the water. Now when you mix this chemical or caustic soda with water, the chemical property of this caustic soda is highly exothermic, which means that it generates a lot of heat when you mix it with the water. Now you have to cool down this hot diluted caustic soda to an ambient temperature or to a desired temperature before you finally use in the process. So this application is designed or developed to estimate the volume of water that is required for the dilution up to a certain extent, and the cooling water rate or a cooling media flow rate or a volume that requires to cool this hot caustic soda to the desired temperature. So here in this application, again there are 4 sections. Each section requires a certain input variables to be defined and provided by the user. For example, starting with the concentrated caustic soda section, which is on the left hand side, user need to provide the initial volume, temperature and the concentration of the concentrated caustic soda. And in the next section, dilution of sodium hydroxide or caustic soda, where the user need to provide the temperature with which the caustic soda or concentrated caustic soda will be mixed in the mixer. The third section is the caustic soda heat exchanger, where the user need to provide the information of the cooling media, inlet temperature and the outlet temperature, and also user will select the the cooling media for the in the heat exchanger from this drop down list. There are certain fluids are provided in the drop down list from which the user can select an appropriate cooling media from this drop down list. And then in the next section, uh, at the bottom of this application is the diluted concentration solution, where the user need to provide the final concentrated diluted sodium hydroxide temperature after cooling, and the final concentration up to which the concentrated caustic soda needs to bring down before it is used in the process. So once all this basic information is provided by the user, then simply by pressing the calculate button, the calculations will be done, and the remaining unknown parameters of the caustic soda mass balance and energy balance, the cooling water required for the dilution of the caustic soda, mass balance and energy balance parameters, and the caustic soda heat exchanger remaining unknown parameters, and the diluted caustic soda solution remaining unknown parameters will be calculated at the same time and displayed in the respective fields. If there is any error provided by the user any time during the calculation, the program will stop. When you press the calculate button, the program will stop and gives you an error message. Then again the user need to go back, revise or update the information with the correct or appropriate numeric value, and then again press the calculate button. The calculation will be done again with the message bar turn into green with the caption OK on it, which means that the calculation have been done successfully. Now the other main feature of this application is that user can take the print. User can take the print preview of this results, and then after the print preview, if the user find it okay, then he can print the results into the PDF format, or save it to the computer, or send it to any attached printer. So when the user press the print button, the results will be printed into the PDF form, and it will be displayed on the computer like this I have over here on my screen, and then you can print it out further or email as you like. Now this is pretty much all about the main application features. If you like the video, please like it or visit my website for more informative videos on chemical engineering application. Please visit my website. Until then, bye bye.